Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to reflect on one of the most transformative journeys of personal growth, letting go. Letting go is often misunderstood. People tend to believe it means surrendering or losing hope, but in truth, letting go is a profound affirmation of self-worth. It is an act of claiming one's value and standing firmly in the knowledge that you deserve more than just the bare minimum. Holding onto relationships that no longer serve you, whether romantic, professional, or even familial, is often rooted in deep emotional fears. Fear of being alone, fear of rejection, fear that no one else will come along, and fear that you are not worthy of something better can all keep you tied to situations that quietly erode your self-esteem over time. Understanding and recognizing these fears is the first step toward real liberation. Many people remain entangled in unhealthy attachments because they derive their sense of identity from the relationship itself. It becomes a mirror through which they view their own value. However, this is a dangerous cycle. If you rely on someone else's approval or presence to feel worthy, you have placed your sense of self outside of your own control. When you finally choose to let go, you reclaim that control. You stop outsourcing your self-worth and begin to cultivate it from within. It is no longer contingent on how someone else treats you, how much attention they give you, or how they validate you. Instead, your worth becomes a constant, rooted deep within your character, your achievements, your kindness, your vision, and your resilience. Letting go is not about resentment or bitterness. It is not about proving a point or punishing someone for not meeting your needs. True letting go comes from a place of peace. It is about understanding that clinging to someone who does not truly see, value, or honor you ultimately does more harm than good. It is about choosing your own well-being over a false sense of security. It is about understanding that your life is too precious to waste in places where you are tolerated rather than celebrated. When you recognize your inherent value, you naturally develop higher standards. You no longer settle for crumbs when you know you deserve the feast. You no longer make excuses for behavior that diminishes your spirit. You stop confusing attachment with love, drama with passion, and inconsistency with mystery. Instead, you seek and expect respect, emotional safety, consistency, and genuine connection. You understand that a healthy relationship is not one where you constantly have to prove your worth, but one where your worth is seen, respected, and cherished without condition. There is an inner strength that emerges once you fully grasp your own value. You become less reactive to rejection because you no longer see it as a reflection of your inadequacy. You begin to understand that rejection is often redirection, a nudge from life steering you towards something far better suited for your growth and happiness. You stop taking everything personally. You stop chasing people who show you, through their actions, that they are not meant to be in your life long term. You stop begging for love, for attention, for validation. You understand that anything you have to beg for is not worthy of you. Letting go is also a radical act of faith in yourself and your future. It means trusting that even though you may not see what is ahead, you believe in your ability to create a fulfilling, joyful, and meaningful life. It means recognizing that your value does not decrease just because someone else failed to recognize it. It means choosing long-term self-respect over short-term comfort. It means believing that you are capable of healing, of thriving, and of attracting people who align with your true self. At its core, letting go is a declaration. I deserve to be loved in a way that feels like freedom, not confinement. I deserve to be with someone who sees me clearly and chooses me willingly. I deserve to wake up every day feeling valued, respected, and cherished. I deserve relationships that uplift, inspire, and support my growth, and if that means walking away from anything less, then so be it. This mindset shift transforms your entire approach to relationships. You are no longer available for one-sided efforts, for emotional games, for mixed signals. You become deeply intentional about who you allow into your inner world because you understand that your time, your energy, and your heart are sacred. Learning to let go is a process, not an event. It often involves grieving, processing emotions, and confronting painful truths. It requires patience and self-compassion, but each step you take toward letting go reinforces your self-worth. Every boundary you set, every time you choose yourself, every moment you prioritize your peace over temporary companionship, you are building a life that reflects your true value. The paradox of letting go is that it often brings in exactly what you thought you would lose by releasing. When you stop trying to force relationships to work, you open space for genuine, effortless connections to enter. When you stop clinging to what is familiar but unfulfilling, you make room for the extraordinary to find you. When you know your worth, you attract people and opportunities that match that energy. You no longer chase love, you embody it. You no longer seek validation. You live in a way that validates your existence every single day. Ultimately, letting go is a deep expression of love for yourself, love for your future, and even love for the other person, in recognizing that forcing a connection that is not meant to be only breeds resentment and pain. It is an act of liberation, a step toward a life built on mutual respect, shared values, and authentic joy. When you finally let go, you are no longer weighed down by fear, by attachment, or by illusion. You rise, you grow, you shine, and it is from that elevated place that the right people, the ones who truly see you, love you, and honor you, can finally find their way to you. Emotional freedom is one of the most powerful forces a person can experience, yet it is often overlooked or misunderstood. When you achieve emotional freedom, you are no longer controlled by past hurts, attachments, or the opinions and actions of others. You reclaim ownership of your inner world, creating a state of peace, clarity, and self-assurance. And it is precisely in this liberated state that you naturally attract the right energy into your life. When you are emotionally entangled with people or situations that drain you, it clouds your energy. You move through life carrying emotional baggage that weighs down your ability to fully express your true self. Fear, resentment, insecurity, and sadness subtly influence your thoughts, your choices, and the way you present yourself to the world. These emotional residues create barriers between you and the connections you genuinely deserve. Instead of attracting healthy, loving relationships, you often attract more of the same cycles that reinforce the unresolved emotions you carry. But when you consciously choose to free yourself from these emotional burdens, everything begins to shift. Emotional freedom means you are no longer reacting from a place of fear or neediness. You no longer seek validation from others to feel worthy or whole. You are not waiting for someone else to complete you or save you. Instead, you meet yourself fully, flaws, strengths, experiences, and dreams, and you accept yourself without conditions. This acceptance radiates from you in a way that others can sense even before you speak a word. Energy is magnetic. Every thought, feeling, and belief you hold emits a certain frequency. When you are burdened with unresolved pain or attachment, the energy you emit unconsciously signals to others that you are not fully available, that you are seeking something outside yourself to feel whole. But when you are emotionally free, you send out a different signal, one of abundance, confidence, and joy. You become a beacon for others who are operating at a similar frequency. Healthy people are drawn to healthy people. Secure individuals are drawn to those who exude security. Those capable of deep, respectful love are drawn to those who already live in self-respect and emotional sovereignty. Emotional freedom also sharpens your ability to discern. When you are not clouded by desperation or longing, you can see people clearly for who they are, not who you wish them to be. You are no longer tempted to overlook red flags, to excuse poor behavior, or to settle for less than you deserve simply because you fear being alone. Instead, you trust yourself to recognize and walk away from anything that does not align with your values, your standards, and your vision for your life. This discernment protects your peace and ensures that the relationships you cultivate are truly nourishing rather than depleting. Another profound effect of emotional freedom is the increase in personal authenticity. When you are not tied to the need for external approval, you are free to be exactly who you are. You speak your truth without fear. You pursue your passions without hesitation. You set boundaries without guilt. You show up in the world as your most authentic self, and that authenticity acts like a magnet, drawing toward you people, opportunities, and experiences that resonate deeply with your true nature. The right person, in particular, is drawn not to a version of you that is curated to please or impress, but to the real, whole you, the one who is grounded, self-assured, and alive with purpose. It is important to understand that emotional freedom does not mean being detached from emotions or living without connection. Rather, it means feeling everything deeply without being imprisoned by those feelings. It means allowing yourself to experience grief, disappointment, joy, and love fully, but without letting any one emotion define you or dictate your choices. Emotional freedom is the ability to feel without becoming enslaved by feelings. It is the art of holding space for your own emotions while maintaining a steady core of peace and self-respect. As you cultivate this freedom within yourself, you naturally move into a flow state where you trust the timing of life. You stop forcing connections. You stop chasing after people who are not meant for you. You release the need to control outcomes, understanding that what is meant for you will never pass you by. This surrender to life's natural rhythms is deeply attractive. There is an ease and grace about you that invites others in without pressure or expectation. Relationships born from this energy are not built on need or fear, but on mutual respect, admiration, and genuine connection. In practical terms, emotional freedom might look like choosing to end a relationship that no longer supports your growth, even if it is painful to walk away. It might look like choosing to forgive someone, not because they apologized or because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It might look like giving yourself permission to dream bigger, to love more fearlessly, and to believe more deeply in your worth. Every time you choose yourself in this way, you reinforce your emotional freedom, and in doing so, you create a life that feels more aligned with your highest self. The beauty of emotional freedom is that it not only transforms your relationships with others, but also deepens your relationship with yourself. You learn to trust your intuition. You learn to enjoy your own company. You learn that your happiness is not dependent on someone else's actions, but is something you create within. And from that foundation of self-generated joy, you attract relationships that are a reflection of the love, respect, and peace you have already cultivated within yourself. In the end, emotional freedom is not about building walls around your heart. It is about strengthening your heart so that it can remain open even in a world that can sometimes be harsh. It is about living with courage, with grace, and with unwavering faith in your own worth. And when you live from that place, the right person, someone who recognizes and cherishes your light, will be drawn to you naturally, effortlessly, and joyfully. Emotional freedom is not a destination, it is a way of being. It is a continuous choice to honor yourself, to trust yourself, and to live with an open heart and a wise spirit. And when you embody that, the right people, the right experiences, and the right love will always find their way to you. Personal growth is often seen as an individual pursuit, a journey embarked upon for personal fulfillment, achievement, or healing. However, what is often overlooked is how profoundly personal growth impacts the quality of the relationships we attract. When you commit to your own development emotionally, mentally, physically, and even spiritually, you change not only your own life, but also the type of people and experiences that come into it. In the context of relationships, personal growth does not just improve your life, it actively creates space for the right person to find you. When you focus on your own evolution, you elevate your standards not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of deep self-respect. You no longer seek relationships out of loneliness, boredom, or fear. You seek connection from a place of wholeness. You no longer look for someone to fill the empty spaces within you. Instead, you seek someone who complements your already full life. This shift in intention fundamentally alters the energy you project and therefore the kind of people you attract. One of the most powerful aspects of personal growth is that it naturally exposes what you truly want and need in a relationship. As you evolve, you become more in tune with your core values, your long-term goals, and your emotional needs. You stop settling for surface-level attractions or temporary validation because you recognize that the wrong relationship is far more costly than being single. You begin to desire depth over excitement, consistency over drama, and partnership over possession. This clarity allows you to quickly recognize who is aligned with your journey and who is not, saving you from unnecessary heartbreak and wasted time. Personal growth builds emotional resilience. It teaches you how to navigate life's inevitable challenges with strength and grace. This resilience is attractive to the right person, someone who also values growth, maturity, and inner strength. Healthy relationships require two emotionally whole individuals who can support each other without losing themselves. By investing in your growth, you demonstrate that you are capable of sustaining a healthy, balanced relationship where both individuals contribute positively to each other's lives without dependency or control. As you grow, your confidence naturally increases. This is not the loud, performative confidence that demands attention, but a quiet, magnetic self-assurance that needs no validation. You walk into a room and your energy speaks before you do. You radiate a sense of knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. This energy is irresistible to the right person, someone who is looking for a partner, not a project. People are naturally drawn to those who know their worth and are unafraid to live it fully. Another important dimension of personal growth is the cultivation of emotional intelligence. As you work on yourself, you become better at understanding your own emotions, communicating your needs effectively, setting healthy boundaries, and empathizing with others. These skills are crucial in creating and maintaining a fulfilling relationship. The right person is not just looking for someone who is attractive or successful. They are looking for someone who can navigate the complexities of a real, enduring partnership. Emotional intelligence makes you a better communicator, a better listener, and ultimately a better partner. Personal growth also transforms your relationship with solitude. You learn to enjoy your own company, to find joy and fulfillment in your own pursuits. You stop fearing loneliness because you realize that being alone is far better than being with someone who is not right for you. This freedom from fear allows you to approach relationships with openness rather than desperation. It enables you to choose a partner from a place of genuine desire rather than a need to fill a void. And when you no longer fear being alone, you naturally hold higher standards for who you allow into your life. When you are deeply engaged in your own growth, you create a life that is already vibrant, exciting, and meaningful. Your life becomes a reflection of your passions, your interests, and your values. The right person is drawn not just to you, but to the life you have built, a life that they can admire, respect, and want to be part of. They are not coming to rescue you or fix you. They are coming to join you, to walk beside you as equals and partners in growth. Importantly, personal growth also helps you heal from past wounds. Unresolved trauma, insecurities, and limiting beliefs can sabotage even the most promising relationships. When you commit to healing and growing, you free yourself from these old patterns. You no longer project past hurts onto new partners. You approach relationships with a clean heart and an open mind, ready to create something new rather than relive old stories. Healing makes you lighter, freer, and more open to receiving the love you deserve. The journey of personal growth is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming real, about peeling back the layers of fear, insecurity, and conditioning to reveal the authentic self beneath. It is about embracing your imperfections while continually striving to become the best version of yourself. This authenticity is what ultimately attracts the right person, someone who is also on a journey of growth and who appreciates and cherishes your humanity. When you focus on your own growth, you also develop a deeper sense of gratitude and contentment. You stop chasing happiness through external circumstances and start cultivating it within. This inner joy makes you magnetic. People are drawn to those who radiate happiness from within because they sense that being around you elevates their own energy. The right person will be someone who does not seek to drain your light, but who adds to it, amplifies it, and protects it. Personal growth is not just about achieving goals or acquiring skills. It is about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts and sustains a healthy, fulfilling relationship. It is about building a life so rich, so authentic, and so full of purpose that the right person cannot help but be drawn to it. Growth does not guarantee love in a specific timeline, but it does guarantee that when love arrives, it will be the kind of love that honors the journey you have taken and the person you have become. And when two people committed to growth come together, they create a partnership that is not just based on attraction, but on a shared vision of evolving, thriving, and building a beautiful life together. Detachment is often misunderstood in discussions about relationships and love. Many believe that to love deeply, one must also cling tightly. However, true love flourishes not in possession or control, but in freedom and trust. Detachment is not the absence of love or caring. It is the highest form of love because it allows space for authenticity, growth, and genuine connection. When you practice healthy detachment, you release the need to control outcomes, allowing love to arise naturally and beautifully. It is through detachment that you open the door for true love to enter your life. At its core, detachment is about releasing expectations. So often, people attach themselves to rigid ideas of how relationships should unfold, what the other person must do to prove their love, or how quickly a commitment must form. These expectations create tension, pressure, and often disappointment. When you are overly attached to a specific outcome, you are not truly engaging with the person in front of you. You are engaging with your idea of who they should be or what they should give you. This creates an environment where authenticity is stifled, where people feel judged rather than accepted, and where real intimacy struggles to grow. By embracing detachment, you allow relationships to breathe. You give yourself and the other person the freedom to show up as you truly are. You let go of the need to force, rush, or manipulate the connection. This openness fosters trust because it signals that your love is not conditional upon someone meeting your expectations. It is based on genuine appreciation for who they are, not what they can do for you. True love thrives in this environment of acceptance and freedom. Detachment also protects your emotional well-being. It empowers you to enjoy the presence of someone in your life, without making your happiness entirely dependent on their behavior, choices, or presence. It reminds you that while you can deeply care for and cherish someone, your sense of worth, peace, and fulfillment remains within your own hands. This emotional sovereignty is incredibly attractive and reassuring to the right person. No healthy individual wants to feel like they are responsible for another person's entire emotional stability. Instead, they are drawn to those who bring completeness and wholeness into the relationship. Practicing detachment also sharpens your ability to recognize what is truly meant for you. When you are not clouded by desperation or fear of loss, you can observe relationships more objectively. You can see whether the relationship is rooted in mutual respect, shared values, and true emotional connection, or whether it is being driven by fear, habit, or wishful thinking. This clarity protects you from investing time and energy into relationships that are not aligned with your highest good. Detachment teaches patience. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, waiting for the right connection can feel uncomfortable. But true love often requires time to reveal itself fully. When you are detached, you are willing to allow that process to unfold naturally. You do not rush intimacy, you do not force commitments, and you do not panic when things move slower than you might have hoped. You trust that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time and that you do not have to cling or chase to receive it. This patience builds a solid foundation for a relationship based on mutual choice rather than emotional urgency. Detachment also strengthens your boundaries. When you are attached to a specific outcome or person, you may tolerate behavior that undermines your self-respect simply to avoid losing the connection. You may ignore red flags, silence your own needs, or make compromises that leave you feeling empty. However, when you are detached, you can uphold your standards without fear. You know that you would rather be alone than be in a relationship that diminishes you. This confidence in your boundaries makes you more discerning and ensures that only those who truly respect and honor you are given access to your heart. Another beautiful aspect of detachment is that it invites spontaneity and joy into your relationships. Without the heavy burden of expectations, relationships can unfold more playfully and authentically. You can enjoy the present moment without obsessing over where things are going. You can savor the connection without trying to script the future. This presence is incredibly magnetic. It creates a space where both people can relax, be themselves, and truly connect without fear of judgment or pressure. Detachment is not about closing yourself off from love. It is about opening yourself up to the right kind of love. A love that is chosen freely, not coerced. A love that enhances your life, not defines it. A love that grows organically, not under duress. When you are detached, you trust that you are worthy of such love and that you do not have to cling to whatever comes along first out of fear that nothing better will come. You know that the right love will not require you to lose yourself or abandon your peace. Practicing detachment also deepens your self-love. It reminds you that your primary relationship is always with yourself. When you honor and nurture that relationship, you naturally attract people who will do the same. You no longer seek someone to complete you because you are already whole. You seek someone to share your wholeness with. This shift in perspective is profound and transformative. It turns relationships from a source of survival into a source of growth, joy, and mutual flourishing. Finally, detachment is an act of deep trust in life. It is a belief that what is meant for you will find its way to you without force. It is a belief that you do not have to sacrifice your dignity, your joy, or your authenticity to be loved. It is a belief that love is not something you chase. It is something you align with by living in your truth and honoring your worth. When you live with this trust, you move through life with grace and confidence. You stop chasing, striving, and forcing. Instead, you attract, you allow, and you receive. And so, detachment opens the door for true love because it makes space for authenticity, trust, freedom, and growth, the very foundations upon which the strongest, most beautiful relationships are built. In this space, the right person does not just find you. They recognize you immediately because you are finally standing in the fullness of who you are, open, radiant, and free. When you finally let go, you do not lose anything that was truly meant for you. Instead, you clear the path for everything you deserve to find its way into your life. Emotional freedom, personal growth, healthy detachment, these are not just abstract ideas. They are the foundations of a life lived with intention, dignity, and genuine joy. By releasing what no longer serves you, you create space for connections rooted in authenticity, mutual respect, and deep alignment. Letting go is an act of courage and self-respect. It is choosing to trust yourself and trust life even when the path ahead feels uncertain. It is recognizing that you are not defined by your past, nor are you limited by old patterns or disappointments. Every step you take toward emotional freedom, every moment you invest in your personal growth, and every boundary you uphold through healthy detachment moves you closer to the life and love you were always meant to experience. True love does not come to those who cling or chase. It comes to those who are willing to stand fully in their worth, to live with an open heart, and to trust that the right people will recognize their light. When you finally let go, you no longer force connections, you attract them naturally. You no longer settle for what is convenient, you wait for what is true. You no longer diminish yourself to fit into someone else's life, you expand fully into your own life, making room for those who are meant to walk alongside you. In the end, letting go is not about giving up on love. It is about giving up on fear, on desperation, on unhealthy attachment. It is about choosing yourself, choosing growth, and choosing faith in the beautiful unfolding of your journey. And when you live from this place of strength and serenity, the right person, the right opportunities, and the right experiences will find you not because you needed them, but because you were ready for them.